Welcome back to the channel, y'all. Again, this is Riley McGill. I'm an OU student. Hopefully you guys already know that right now if you've seen like the website. So this video is going to be talking about Paris. It's a city in France, the capital, and you guys heard of it before, so I don't even know what I'm talking about. But this is going to be like a little city review, kind of like I did in the last video about London, except for this one is going to be about Paris. And this is the first time I've been to France, and I really did love it. So this summer I went to France for 3 weeks, and I went to 4 different cities, and I will be doing a city review of all of those. So hopefully you guys can tune into those as well. But Paris was the first city I went to. I took the channel from London to Paris, and so it's really cool. It goes underneath the ocean. Totally check it out. It was really interesting to look at. But it was great, great ride. Got over there, and I'll kind of just go into it from here. So like I said earlier, it was the first time I've ever been to France, and it was interesting because you hear so much about French culture. And we Americans have a very distinct idea of what France is, but I think a lot of things were similar and a lot of things are different. So I'll kind of go on and explain those things. So when I first got there, obviously one thing you hear is that French people love speaking French and they don't really speak English all that often. But I found that they were very accommodating. I, like most Americans, usually only speak one language. I'm a Chinese major, and so I speak a little bit of Chinese. I could get around in China if that is any indicator. As far as directions and little things, but I couldn't write an essay and do a whole dissertation, even though I'm gonna have to in a year. So that's neither here nor there. So I, like most Americans, whenever I need to learn another language, I do it a week before, and I was on Duolingo with all my friends that were also leadership scholars, and I was just learning different phrases that aren't even that useful. It's just oh, I ate an orange or blah blah blah. So we got there, and I went to the huge train station there, Gare du Nord, and I stepped out, and immediately it was beautiful. And I think traveling is one of those things. I know I do a travel vlog, but I think travel is one of those things that it can be very misleading, because whenever you go to a new place, your eyes haven't seen it before, and so immediately you're intrigued, entranced, because you literally just haven't seen it before. So every place that's different might seem nice or whatever, but Paris really was beautiful. The buildings were all super, super nice, and not to say that they were just these modern buildings. They were, but just very elegant, and they were you could just see that they were done intentionally. So it was really cool. I got to the train station, started walking around, and I saw a whole bunch of different places. You see pizza everywhere. Different places to buy crepes or stuff like that. It was really, really cool. So I don't want to spend all day on this because I know I could talk for an hour about Paris. So the best thing I ate in Paris, I'm trying to think, because I was there for around 3 or 4 days the first time, and then at the end of the trip I was there for 2 days. But I will say one of my favorite things. So while I was there, I kind of just learned a few things about French dining, and so just in general, people love bread over there. People love it, and it's terrible for me because I'm a big guy. I love bread, and so I'll gain weight while I was out there. Even in 3 weeks, I gained a whole bunch of weight because you go to grocery stores or convenience stores, and people will have bread fresh baked there, and it's delicious. It's some of the best bread you've ever had in your life. But it'll be €1 or 68 cents or whatever like that. Super, super cheap, and also really delicious. And so that was awesome. So we went to this grocery store right by we stayed in the Hotel Normandy. It's right by the Louvre. And we went to this grocery store called Franprix, and there was literally a loaf there for 86 cents, and it was delicious. So one of the best things I had while I was over there. I'll say it was probably one of my favorite things in Paris, and it was just so simple, and it'd be that's easy breakfast right there. So for now, I'll say that was one of my favorite things. Fashion-wise, this was easily one of my favorite places because everything was so elegant, and I'm much more of I like Jordans, I like streetwear, stuff like that. But people really dress up well there. So most of the time, and this was in the summer, you would see people in there wearing pants, And then usually some people will wear t-shirts, but it's not like a normal t-shirt. It's usually like a relatively fashionable t-shirt. But then also it's just like little things. So instead, like let's say it's like it always rains in Paris, and so instead of like tying a jacket around their waist, they tie it around their neck. And so like little things like that are different. A lot of men wear like collared shirts. They'll have like bags, stuff like that. So, but even like when you see kids, they're dressed up really well. And so it's cool to look at when you're on like the subway or something like that, and you can just see people. They dress really nicely, and like compared to that to like American, like at least like college kids, you're not gonna see a whole bunch of kids in like shorts and t-shirts, like gym shorts, or like girls with like long sweatshirts and like Nike shorts. Like you just don't really see it over there. So it was a really cool switch. And when I was over there, it was like whenever you're around it so much, you really want to like impart some of those little things in your dress. So like getting your pants tailored or stuff like that. Little things that you can do to like kind of like fashion, like up your fashion a little bit. So very cool stuff. And music. While I was over there, I think I heard a little bit of French music, but then whenever you'd go out to like a nightclub or something like that, you would hear a lot of American music. They'd see us, and when we go out, yeah, exactly. So when we go out to bars or we go out to a nightclub, they would see us Americans, and they would be playing music that they know we would listen to. So they'd play like Despacito. We went to this one bar in a different city, but same thing, and they would start playing like sock hop music from like the 50s. So very, very different stuff. But that's also one thing I wanted to talk about, because I mean I can talk about whatever, it's my vlog. If you went out and dressed in a certain way, people wouldn't necessarily know that you weren't French. So if you just dressed in a certain way, like nice pants, like I wore this shirt a lot because it was like you saw a lot of people with striped shirts out there. People like stuff like this and some like Stan Smiths maybe, people would know that I wasn't French just because of like the clothes I was wearing. They don't necessarily like just think because you look a certain way that you're an American. And so that was kind of cool, because they have such a diverse like population over there. You don't really necessarily know like, oh, this is what this person looks like. So it was cool. And a lot of people out there, I didn't see too many like nice pairs of sneakers, like high fashion like that, but a lot of people wear like boots or like dress shoes, or they'll go with like an Adidas pair, something like that. So not super hyped like that. But then whenever you're going around Paris, every now and then you do see something and you're like, oh wow, that's like pretty intense. So that's all I'm really thinking about. One funny thing with fashion is that whenever I was over there, people in Paris and France in general, they wore like Levi's t-shirts, and you'd always see French people walking around in those. They would just be like the Levi's logo on front, like a plain t-shirt. So I thought that was kind of funny. And I'll probably make another video on Paris to talk about the things I haven't talked about in this one. But I really enjoyed being over there. Usually any city with public transportation I love. I think it's because I'm from Oklahoma, and the fact that like you can't really get around that easily here without a car. Any city where you can, I'm automatically a fan. So that was Paris. I absolutely loved it, and I'd go back in a heartbeat. If you guys have any recommendations about things that I should talk about, feel free to drop a comment below. I'm going to be doing videos way more often next semester. I'll probably start tweeting about stuff like that. Also, if you want to follow me on Twitter, feel free. My @name for Twitter or Instagram is RylanMcGill3, just like that. But yeah, so if you guys have any comments, let me know. But otherwise, this is just another video. Appreciate y'all. So.